Tonight, All Elite Wrestling was able to capture one of the staples of the territory wrestling days, the Wrestling Grandma. That old lady, she was having the time of her goddamn life. She was able to swerve when she drives and swerves when she drives, considering that Henry Ford wasn't even out of his teenage years when she was young. It's absolutely marvelous that she was able to see Swerve win against Roderick Strong when Roderick Strong died of house call. And honestly, that old lady, she remembers going across the Oregon Trail. Why, it's the Old West. You know, that horse-drawn carriage, dying of dysentery and all that stuff. And man, what a fun game that was. But she actually lived it. And the fun fact about her driving that horse-drawn carriage, you know who taught her to drive that particular thing, operate it, and make sure they navigate the Old West? Zoe Stark, or perhaps the Maitre d'. Your choice. Decide. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Loveland, Colorado. Well, that pretty much cements no women are going to be watching this goddamn particular review. Oh well, people still watch. That's fine. So yeah, the Blue FCU Arena. So, 6,800 seat capacity. Apparently, they had around 3,000 people. And you know what? Considering that they probably could have been set up for maybe 5,000 because they had to obstruct some of the seats to give the town some actual room to do things. All right, 3,000 people in a 6,800 seat building. Yeah, there were pictures where it was completely empty on the camera side, but at least it looked and sounded better. I mean, yeah, they still had tight camera shots on the goddamn ring, but it was what it was. So, their debut in this venue, run more venues like this. If they come back to Washington State to run television, they need to run, like, the ShoWare Center in Kent. Maybe run that arena in Wenatchee, except it's goddamn Wenatchee. Nobody likes Wenatchee. If you think you do, you're wrong. And Kent is also really bad. Only Washingtonians will get that. So, onwards to Forbidden Door in 25 days. Well, 24 as of this recording, because I review stuff late because I work and earn that sweet dollar. So, MJF starts up to a huge pop. He's feeling it. He's really having a goddamn blast. It's great that he's back. They have desperately fucking needed him. Desperately. And it's fun lining up, actually, you know, around the same time. Like, he was gone for the same number of months that Goldberg was gone. You know, Goldberg did something more monumentally stupid because MJF was carrying the company. And Goldberg just decided to put his hand through a window. Good old Bill Goldberg right there. That's going to be the name now because of what he did to Bret Hart. And also Bret Hart calling him Bill Goldberg is hilarious. Bill Goldberg is nowhere near this. But he's our scumbag chance. And MJF was shilling, talking about the new merch at AEW.com. The weird, like, lone wolf, almost furry-like thing. I don't get. Check out my Good Boy review if you want to know what I think of that particular kink. So he makes a weed joke that his eyes are bloodshot. Weed. And he shills a little bit more. Get your tickets for Forbidden Door. They need to sell more tickets because that's a really big goddamn arena. So he knocks the children that have taken over. He knocks Okada, how he can't afford a gym membership. Swerve, he talks about being, you know, mogul, media mogul or like a business mogul or whatever. It's like, it doesn't even seem like you finished business school. And knocks Will Ospreay, the bruv chance. And then he, you know, he's basically talking about how he lists all these people, like, you know, you're not the greatest wrestler in the world, Ospreay. Lists all these people, and you know what they have in common? I beat them all. I forgot that he wrestled Tanahashi, in all honesty. He wrestled what was left of Tanahashi, but then he's, the best in the world. He is face of AEW, and then Rush shows up. Get him a manager, please. He's trying. Bless Rush for trying. It is a language barrier. He is trying his best. Bless him. He was probably nervous going out there and doing that. And Rush is very talented. But when you were gone, I was showing up to work. Wasn't Rush gone until like about 2 months ago? Maybe 6 weeks ago? Because I remember seeing him, Preston Vance, and whoever the hell that other guy was. They were all kidnapped in Mexico and beaten up, and then it went nowhere, and then Rush was gone for a while. When did Rush return to TV? Was it in the last month? Like, no, you didn't. You haven't been carrying anything. I'm not even knocking Rouge. But MJF basically then says, we didn't get any of that shit. And says, you know what? Tell us again. No, you know what? No one gives a shit. Okay, there you go. Okay, it was what it was. MJF does praise the fact that, hey, you know what? You are really good in the ring. I paid you up to take out Bryan Danielson. And then we get some praise, but then we get a few too many words said. Of holes I can stand, can't stand no more, and the fight is on. It's on the screen. Daniels is there in security. And the pull apart. Okay, it felt like a real wrestling promotion. And what did I say during my Double or Nothing review? MJF segments are going to mean the most. They're going to be taken the most seriously. They are going to be treated with respect. They're probably going to hold enough of the audience. But if you don't advertise that he's going to have a match later in the show and you start off the show with him, then you're going to have a nosedive. They need to build people back up. They need to shore some things up. They need to cut the comedy. You can have a little entertainment, but they need to cut the bad comedy. And I don't know if they can rectify that. Yes, they had a spike in ratings last week because the NBA playoffs, the finals, are going to be happening in a bit. And they had a little bit, a boost of like 70,000, viewers tuning in on average in comparison because of Double or Nothing. But you have to wonder now, can they hold that? I hope they can. I hope their ratings can get back up. But I don't think it was just the playoffs. The ratings were dropping before. MJF can boost things, and hopefully they can hold more of an audience because he's really good, and they do have some talents. One of which is Roderick Strong running up the hill, like that song from Stranger Things, apparently, that people told me about. I have not seen one episode of Stranger Things. Should I watch that? And he's running up the hill with Bennett and Taven, taking it seriously, talking about climbing the mountains, all that, and it's going great. And I'm like, all right, they're treating Roddy seriously. He's got the weird welder glasses on, or sawing glasses on. I don't get it. And then he'll swerve, and then says, boys, it's go time. And they fucked it up. You just treat it seriously, you idiots. Roddy should not be talking. He's not a natural. So then O'Reilly, Lethal, and Cassidy and Phoenix took on each other in a 4-way contenders match for the International Incident Championship next week. Referee Rick Knox, powered by Woo Energy, not Wooings. 13 minutes later, Phoenix pinned Lethal. It's nothing against O'Reilly. I don't really care about Lethal. Phoenix keeps getting injured, and I've said my opinion on Cassidy. It has not fluctuated since his appearance at that Double or Nothing Over the Budget Battle Royal. I think he's a joke. There are people that like him. That's fine. I don't like him. I don't wish ill upon him, but I do not wish to watch anything with him. Also, it's a 4-way and it's messy, and Rick Knox isn't going to enforce the rules. He's a fucking goddamn idiot. I would say that to his fucking face. He is fucking really bad at his job. If you can't do shit properly, don't fucking do it. Oh, he's there because he's friends with the EVPs. Apparently they, liked Nosferatu in a previous life. So, yeah, Phoenix against Ospreay next week. Callis and Trent show up, and then Statlander tries to stop Cassidy from beating up Trent, even though she turned heel before, and then she decks Orange Cassidy, noting that Statlander is way bigger than Orange Cassidy. And, okay, then Willow shows up. Statlander powders, and it was what it was. Jericho shows up being stupid and doing comedy and saying, cameraman, you're doing a great job. And there are people that think that, oh, this is great trolling and everything. Again, he is trolling the social media, contingent, the social media bubble of the wrestling audience, which isn't the entire wrestling audience. And the audience for them has been shrinking. And Jericho's a big reason why. I don't care about Brian Keith. I don't care if he's the best, technical wrestler out there. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see any of the people involved in this. Plus, Jericho still has an answer for the fact that he's donated tens of thousands of dollars to the pig shit piece of shit that was in the goddamn White House for a bit because people voted him in and hopefully won't vote him in again. And also his wife is part of the January 6, 2021 insurrection attempt. And Jericho's just a genuinely shit person. I don't care if he's donated to good causes. He has proven that he is a piece of shit. So, but that being said, taking all that out, he's just not, productive for this program. Willow is pissed. Cassidy then comes in and does a limp wrist fist bump because they can't take anything seriously. You have a chance here, Khan. like Khan's going to be watching this, but he has a chance here. I've been a wrestling fan since 1985, and it frustrates me to see AEW shoot themselves in the foot. Here's Christopher Daniels talking about TNT ladder match qualifiers, because Copeland got injured. Mark Briscoe took on Brian Cage. So apparently Brian Cage says he has about 6 years left on his AEW contract. I'm not against people getting paid. They did fire Jake, or, at least let Jake Hager go. Good. That was a waste of goddamn money. Can't wait for that goddamn moron to disappear into the night. But Cage says he has 6 years left on his contract. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care what company you work for. You are not worth 6 goddamn years. 3 to 4, fine. A lot can change even in that. 6 years for a guy that's 40 years old that had a back injury in Impact and also looks like a walking balloon animal. It's not even that he's bad in the ring. He's just bland. And later, Briscoe won with the Froggy Bow. Okay. Good on Briscoe. They kind of have almost shot themselves in the foot with the chance to really make him a big deal. He is a Ring of Honor World Champion, and that's great. He won the same title that his brother won. And a Jack Perry promo. He is bad at this. He is really, really bad at this. They could resurrect his dad, and he would be better at acting than Jack Perry is. And he's probably going to win the ladder match at Forbidden Door, and they're going to double, triple, and quadruple down on this stuff, and it's not good. It wasn't good when they kept trying to revive the NWO, or kept trying to double down on some of the bad shit in WCW. It didn't work. It led to the erosion of the company, and it's leading to the erosion of this. Whether they get a bigger TV deal or not, I don't really care. They are getting a stigma where nobody really wants to pay attention to them. Speaking of not paying attention, Samoa Joe and Hook were backstage, and Tony Nese still works there. I believe that was Arya Daivari and Mark Sterling. They are also still there. Yeah, they talked, and I didn't care. More Jericho shit, but this time with the former 2.0. Acclaimed show up, and the Bucks cut them off because the employee handbook, don't disparage your EVPs. Let's see that employee handbook. Let's assume you guys can read it. I don't think they can. So your segment is cut. Top of the hour, by the way, Renee is backstage with Swerve and Nana. This is the top of the fucking hour. Nana has an envelope that he needs to give to Ospreay. And then Swerve knocks Roddy in the EVPs. Next time you want to have Team AEW, you need to have the AEW World Champion. Pretty much foreshadowing the Swerve is probably going to lose to Ospreay. Danielson is going to win the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And then I was talking about this with a friend of mine in Texas, really good guy. And he knows who he is. But they're probably going to go with that. And Danielson is going to take on Ospreay. And maybe they're going to have another classic in Wembley. And then Swerve's going to be freed up to be part of the Blood and Guts possible match, because that's just what we need, is more overbooked nonsense. So, a follow the money QR code. Whatever. Mercedes and Stephanie Vaquer it's going to be title for title Forbidden Door. We get a pre-tape on Mercedes loving Japanese wrestling and the women's footage. And I forgot she wrestles Stephanie on that same show where she injured her own ankle because Mercedes is made of glass. So the BCC, Yuta's back. Okay. It's Claudio, Danielson, Mox, and Yuta against 4 CMLO guys. I recognized a couple, kinda. One guy was in a furry panda, or furry, like mask. Or it was his hair. And his face is just really weird because he was born in the jungle. I don't know. Yuta pinned one of the guys. It was a mess of an 8-man match where it's not even that these guys can't work. Lucha works to an extent, but it was a match that didn't mean anything to me. I'm sorry. It just blended together. Jericho then talks to some guy in catering. I know the whole point is they're trying to say, oh, Jericho's taking over the show and he's taking time away from people and everything. Yeah, here's the thing. There's a way to do it, and Jericho doesn't know how to do it. Tony Khan doesn't know how to do it. Nobody in this company knows how to be subtle and actually be smart about stuff. And it's not making me want Jericho to get beat up. I don't want to see Jericho anymore. Daniel Garcia package. Okay, talking about his history. growing up loving professional wrestling, working hard, driving back from, I believe, Montreal and getting in a car accident, breaking both his legs, and not knowing if he was even going to be able to walk again, and getting back and dancing and doing the dance and the dance and the dance and the dance and dance and all that, which I can't do, but obviously because I'm uncoordinated. But this was good. They're actually doing something as far as, featuring Daniel Garcia. And I have one question. Where the fuck was this 2 years ago when you could have actually capitalized? They could have capitalized. They could have said the reason that he was so, locked in with Jericho is because he had his confidence shattered. He was good, but he kept going back to what happens if it's all taken away. I need to learn from some veteran. And then he could have gone on his own. He didn't even have to join the BCC. He could have gone on his own, had an association with Danielson. It could have actually worked. And yes, this is great, but where was this 2 or so years ago? I'm sorry, but just they can't help themselves. So then the Acclaim challenged the Bucks. I mean, it's great that Garcia got this package. I'm glad. But they don't follow up on this shit. Christian then asked the EVPs for another title shot. Perhaps it's going to be Christian, Nick Wayne, and Lucha Switch again for the Trios titles, or possibly for the Ring of Honor tag titles. Does it really matter? No. The Bucks do bad comedy because the Bucks can't do anything other than bad comedy. Tony joins commentary, the black and white look every time she's on camera. Mariah versus Saraya. Harley Cameron, and I assume that's Soraya's brother, looks like a Newsies reject. He's a ringside. Saraya has man hand sign. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. So, it's funny that MIA has paper planes and Saraya has a paper straw neck. So, Mariah carried this. Saraya can't do anything. She does hit the page turner, the something or other, or the page lock. I don't know what the hell it was called before. That weird clover queef tie thing that she does. And Mariah gave up. And then Tony tried to help Mariah, and then she got beat down. Then Mina Shirakawa showed up in an outfit that was not really hanging on all that much. Not that I noticed. How dare you assume that I noticed? Look, beautiful woman. It's impossible not to tell. Impossible not to notice, that is. And, all right. And after the heels powdered, they did a titty bump off where they bumped each other in the titties, and then Mariah put both of them on her chest. And I've seen movies that have scenes like these. Usually you have to go to a different kind of website to see that. Shirakawa versus Toni Storm might actually be pretty good. It could actually end up being possibly the show-stealing match of the show. At least it'll be a show. At least it'll be a match, I think, that would have halfway decent psychology to it, not just a bunch of weapons. So Shivani then mentions while the graphic for Toni Storm and Mina is on screen, it's like, I'm being told it's official. We see the graphic there. Does nobody in the production truck bother to communicate with each other? Jericho then does some more shit, and then I don't know who the hell he was talking. I think Isaiah Cassidy was one of them. I don't care. Danielson is bound and determined to make the last few months mean something. So I think he's winning the Owen Hart Cup tournament. He's going to challenge Ospreay at Wembley. And he's going to have his last match at Wrestle Dream in Tacoma. In front of probably half a house if he's lucky. Because I don't think they're going to draw shit in Tacoma. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong. And then Swerve, along with Nana, who swerves when he drives, took on Roddy, and a fine match for the AEW title. See, Roddy can work. Roddy's good in the ring. He's just not good on promos. It was what it was. This whole thing of like Roddy demanding a title match and Tony just granting it to him on Collision. I did see that clip. That's what we get here. I mean, yeah, it's not even being a heel. It's just like, okay, let's just be lazy. I couldn't enter the Casino Battle Royal because somebody won before I got a chance to enter. It's just, God. So anyway, we get some interference. It was what it was. Swerve won with a house call. We had a 7-minute overrun because they started with 8 to 9 minutes, for the official thing. Fortunately, my DVR recorded the whole thing. And then Swerve dances with a grandma. I could say something there, but I'm not going to. Elderly, elderly. Hey, at least they weren't in Denver, so they weren't completely unstoppable. That being said, let's just call it right here. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.